Good morning, children. How are you? I hope you all are fine. Today, we'll be studying the poem Wind from your textbook Beehive, and this poem is written by Subramania Bharti. So, this poem Wind, it was written originally in Tamil language by Subramania Bharti, and later on A.K. Ramanujan translated this poem, and this poem is an example of modern poetry written in free verse with unequal and unrhyming lines. And this poem is quite a short poem which describes the power of the wind on nature and human life. This poem focuses on the violent aspect of wind that causes destruction, and this fierce wind is also seen by the poet as a symbol of adversities in our life. And this poem ends with a suggestion that if we remain strong, we can overcome any obstacle in our life. So, let's read the poem together. Okay, so before we start reading the poem, the poet has asked a question. The wind blows strongly and causes a lot of destruction. How can we make friends with it? So now the poet is asking all of us, he is asking the readers that the wind, when a heavy wind blows, it causes a lot of destruction. So is there any way by which we can make friends with it? So now let's read the poem together. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. So, the poem opens with the poet's request to the wind. The poet is addressing the wind and he wants the wind to blow gently so that the shutters of the windows are not broken and the papers are not blown about and scattered all over. Moreover, the poet also urges the wind not to throw down books down the shelf. So, in these first 4 lines, the poet is requesting the wind to blow gently and not to blow violently, so that the shutters of the windows are not broken and the papers are not blown about and scattered all over. And also he urges the wind not to throw down the books which are kept on the shelf. And in these lines, there is a use of a poetic device which is called Anaphora, because don't, D-O-N''T, don't is repeated thrice in first 4 lines, and this imperative repetition of the word don't at the beginning of 3 consecutive lines, it expresses the poet's strong urge to the wind to be gentle and kind. And this poetic device is also creating a unique rhythm in the poem. So there is a use of anaphora in the poem. Spellings of anaphora: A-N-A-P-H-O-R-A. I hope first 4 lines are clear. Next, there, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. So, in these lines, the poet demonstrates the damage caused by the strong and violent wind. The wind has thrown down all the books from the shelf and torn their pages. And this wind, it also causes the clouds to make rain. So the poet believes that the wind by destroying the weaklings. Weaklings are the things which are weak, which seems weak. So the poet believes that this wind, by destroying the weak things, seems to be mocking at them. It seems to be mocking at their fragility, because they are fragile, they are quite weak, they don't have enough strength. So through these lines, the poet is giving us an idea that the wind is actually poking, he is actually making fun of the things which are weak. Next, frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. Now these lines, they describe the havoc, they describe the deterioration caused by a violent wind. Now the poet says that the wind destroys the inanimate things like weak houses, weak doors, weak rafters. Rafters, you know what are rafters? Rafters. So rafter is a log of wood which is used in making wood. Okay. So now here the poet is relating the situation to our real life, and he says, as the violent wind is causing a havoc, it destroys the weak things. Similarly, the difficulties of life discourage human beings. So now this poem is a symbolic poem. It is symbolizing, it is relating to our real life. And the poet says that the difficulties of our life discourage human beings. And the poet is he regards the wind as a god. He says the wind god winnows. So he regards the wind as a god who acts like a winnower. What is winnowing? To winnow is to blow chaff, right? So to separate. So he is saying that the poet is saying that wind is acting as a god which sorts and destroys everything that comes in his contact, which means that when the wind god is sorting the people, it is separating the people. The weak people and the weak things are crushed by the destructive power of the wind, and the strong ones have the capacity to survive. So now in first three lines, frail crumbling houses, frail crumbling doors, crumbling rafters. Again, the poetic device which has been used is anaphora, because the repetition of the word crumbling is there, and it has been used by the poet to emphasize the deterioration, the destruction, the damage caused by the wind. Next, he won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. So now the poet believes that the wind god acts according to his own wishes and does not relent even when people urge him. So he means to say that in a simple language we can say that the wind god will do whatever he wishes to do, and he will not even listen to any one of us even if we ask him to do something particular. Therefore, now the poet is saying it is essential to equip our buildings, our bodies and our hearts with immense strength, so that we may withstand strong winds, we may withstand difficulties, we may withstand difficult situations. And as far as human lives are concerned, the wind is a symbol of daunting difficulties and challenges which can be overcome only with exceptional strength, resistance, resilience, courage and determination. So, the poet is advising people to strengthen their bodies as well as hearts to face the hardships that come their way. And he says that we all should equip ourselves with physical and mental strength, grit and determination, so that we all remain unruffled and unharmed in difficult situations. Next, do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Now, the poet believes that if we are strong enough not to be shaken by the wind, it will become our friend. So, in the beginning of the poem, the poet had asked a question, how can we make friends with it? So now he gives us the answer as well. He says, if we are strong enough not to be shaken by the wind will become our friend. And here, wind is symbolizing the hardships of life, the difficulties of life. And these hardships can make only weak people stagger, but strong people become stronger still by facing the difficulties. See, now he is giving an example here. He says, just like the wind can extinguish only weak flames of fires, and the strong flames burn even stronger and with a loud roar, because he says the wind blows out weak fires, so only the weak people can be shunned by the violent wind, but the strong fires or the strong people, they become even stronger, and they even strong fires, they burn with a loud roar. So if we befriend the wind, it will prove to be good for us. So if we will become friends with the wind, then what will happen? If we will play bravely with the wind like a friend instead of falling a prey to its destructive force, so we'll end up being healthy and strong both mentally and physically. So here one line is there in the end. His friendship is good, we praise him every day. So here wind is treated as a god. He means wind is being treated as God by the poet, who has tremendous power and has a great influence on our lives. And we need to pacify this God in order to keep him pleased, so that we can escape his wrath, his anger. So now I really hope this poem is clear to you. Thank you.